So number 1, both the HBC and native team have innate heat bonuses, meaning they lose less heat on the frontier and gain more heat when inside of buildings. I don't know how much exactly, I think it's like 20 extra. They can survive snowstorms better than colonists, is what I'm saying. This is part of the reason you see them always charging in snowstorms. They can take the heat losses easier than we can because they lose less of it. Secondly, natives have a bow damage buff. They deal more damage with their bows than colonists do, also more accurate with them. On the flip side, they're less accurate with all gunpowder weapons, so you shouldn't be using like fucking Kentuckys and Jaeger rifles as a native because you won't hit shit with them. Also, it's important to take into account the fact that natives have 50% more stamina than HBC and colonists do. For example, if a colonist could run for 10 seconds, a native would be able to run for 15. This also translates into melee combat, meaning that natives get more swings than colonists do. Thankfully, however, they don't have a faster stamina regeneration time, they only have a higher max stamina. So lastly, the native team as well as the HBC team cannot get bounties, they're both immune. Only colonists can get bounties, which they acquire through looting HBC members or looting other colonists. They don't get them from looting natives though, so keep that in mind. With number 2, we go over the bayonet double stab. This trick is kind of a pain to execute in combat, so I wouldn't suggest unless you're fighting an AFK opponent like I am here. When you hold F to swing your bayonet, hold F again while going through with your second swing to swing immediately after your first swing. It's a little complicated, but once you do it your first time, you'll get it, you'll get used to it. You can do this swing tactic up to 3 times with 3 quick bayonet stabs. Sometimes these stabs will register as a second or third hit, sometimes they won't though, it's a little bit finicky. This next one is what I call a tomahawk quick switch. It's not really a quick switch, but it's kind of similar, so I thought I'd use the name. With this, you swipe the player once and then throw the tomahawk, dealing a collective 100 damage. You kill them in just under a second once you're good at it. So this takes practice to execute, and it works best against opponents that are AFK or tabbed out or digging or caught in chat. It doesn't work well for dueling or for when the opponent can expect it. Obviously, when doing this, you'll be out of a melee weapon until you pick yours back up, so don't try this if you're fighting a group. This next one is the loaded crossbow glitch for the few crossbow users out there. If you de-equip your crossbow while it's doing its loading animation, it will finish the loading animation on your back. It will then be fully loaded and ready to fire once you re-equip it, much like a gunpowder weapon. This really helps for quick firing. You can even quick switch with the crossbow now. Next up is double jumping. Now double jumping's bannable, so I'm not going to demonstrate it, but I will explain to you all how it works. I'm going to put it over this laggy duel I had. It's a pain in the ass, though, because whenever I'm recording, it slows my game down, which sucks for dueling. That's why I lost to the lieutenant earlier in the video. But I digress. Double jumping. So if you hold clothing in your hand, and you run at a structure and equip the clothing with F mid-jump, it will fling you an extra player's height upwards. That's enough to get on top of most buildings. You all need to be aware of this glitch, but it's not up to me to decide whether you all do it or not. So 6th is trees. It's a little bit less interesting, but it needs to be discussed nonetheless. You can tell the amount of logs a tree will drop by its size. In this clip, I fell a small, medium, and large tree. These give 2, 3, and 4 logs respectively. And also, as a little bonus, you can actually mine trees with tomahawks, just like with your axe. It'll take upwards of 5 more hits per tree, though, so keep that in mind. I don't suggest you actually do mine trees with tomahawks, but it's nice to know that the option's there for all those fucking tree guys out there. 7th is the best gem spawn in the game. More gems spawn here than anywhere else. This spawn is found deep in the mines that Cliffs of Foul, in a gold deposit just to the side of the final cave opening. So because this little gold ores embedded into the wall. The gems used to sometimes fall out the back of it into the void, and you couldn't pick them up. But I believe the last updates patched that, and so now everything you mine goes straight into your inventory. You don't have to worry about that anymore. And lastly, a final tip. If you've seen my treasure hunting video, you'll remember this map. I'm going to show you on the map the fastest way to get to St. Paul, the Northwind smithing town. This route I also took in my gunpowder weapons video, so if you want to look at that, it's literally me going through the route in the beginning section of it. So, following the route we show you will get you there in under 6 minutes. The boat ride only gets you there in 8 minutes. You can make this route very quickly if you hurry. So here's how the route works. You leave James Bay alongside the coastline trail until you clear the safe zone. Then make your way to the cliffside separating you from Henry Hill shorelines. Jump off of the cliffside's 2 closest peaks, swim across the lake, get a foothold on the rock face across the lake, and follow it to the Henry Hill shoreline, which should be to your right. This is brown sandy beach. If you're doing this right, you should run into a wolf when you're going up the beach. You should see one. So walk in between Henry's Hill and Rupert's Pass, as marked on the map, until you get to the river that the boat passes through. This is the river in front of St. Paul. Jump in the river and swim to St. Paul, and you're fucking there. I hope this short video helped some of you understand the finer points to this game. Until next time, I'm Connex, or Cobb if you will, and this has been Things the Pros Don't Want You to Know About Northwind.